Hey, happy Monday.
What's good, guys?
Well, we're back. We're going to dive in and talk about how you buy is how you sell. Our long term hope is for you to understand how to attract and sell more clients, whether you're insurance, but especially if you're cash pay. This is going to be really relevant for you to pick apart a pretty tried and true process that people have in life is how you buy is how you sell.
Yeah, I remember when I was first learning like salesmanship, and just like this service oriented process to bringing people in who needed help, uh, into them actually taking action and getting help like with me, right, or getting help with the therapist that would be a great fit for them. And I think this is so important, especially if you're cash, but also very important if you're insurance, like Josh, you were just saying. This idea that if you're scared to spend the money on yourself, you're probably projecting some of that fear, some of that insecurity, some of that lack of confidence, some of that XYZ onto your clients, and onto your prospects. And so there's this interesting concept right now where it's like, a private practice owner, need to learn how to do something to get my problems resolved, and I'm afraid to spend two or six or $10,000 on solving the problem that's going to help me make 10, 100, $1 million. And so there's this inherent fear where your clients will also feel it, because you're asking your clients to spend several $1,000s with you over the course of 6 or 12 months. And so, would you buy your own service? Are you afraid to say the number 10,000, 6,000, 3,000? Like, where is your boundary at, and how are you projecting that onto your clients?
I think in part of this process, we can get very disconnected from the sort of underlying current that exists with money. But it affects our life a lot on a day to day basis. Everyone spends their money, and everyone spends their money differently. And so I think part of this process is asking yourself, well, in what ways am I asking my client to spend money and in what time frame? If you're a cash pay practice who wants to charge 150 or 250 or 350 a session, and you come out the other side, well, what you're really asking them is to drop 600, 1,000, $2,000 a month on your therapeutic services, to solve a problem, just as Attilio said, that matters a lot to them. And when you turn around and you don't have that same framework for yourself, you don't value yourself and your finances enough, and you are oriented in a different direction that doesn't allow that philosophy of saying, hey, it's worth spending sums of money, thousands of dollars to solve a problem in my personal life and in my business life. And that's really what it's rooted on is, do you have the value? And I guess one of the things we can pick apart here is like, why is it worth dropping large amounts of cash, depending on how you define large amounts? Why is it worth dropping large amounts of cash for someone who seeks therapy? And why is it worth you dropping large amounts of cash to solve problems in your business and in your life? Like, why should that be a value that you orient your life around for how you spend your money?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too. Once I started doing this, I feel like there was sort of a turning point when I heard this for the first time, and I was like, oh shoot, am I actually resistant to buying things? And then what I ended up trying to do was just started buying things in like small increments, like tens of increments, hundreds of increments. And I started understanding myself, what was holding me back from buying things. And so this is kind of like an experiment in a lot of ways. Why aren't you buying things in a micro perspective? Or why are you buying things? And I think having the freedom and flexibility to buy helps you understand why other people buy. And it really just kind of creates a better salesperson in you. Um, this idea that you just brought up, Josh, where it's like we're creating this maybe like gap between an actual purchase or not. is kind of interesting, right? We've got this like
Yeah.
$100 gap, $1,000 gap, and it's like, well, are we actually spending money to solve the problems, or are we spending time and energy and brain space to solve problems? And I think people, there's a saying, fast is better than free, right? People will buy speed. People will buy things when they understand if it will actually solve a problem for them. And uh, my encouragement to you guys maybe this week is, now that you know this dirty secret, the sales psychology hack, maybe open up to buying a little bit more. Maybe start understanding, when is it a healthy time to buy? What is an asset that's going to pay me more than what I spend on it? And how can I get these things to work once I buy them?
And this is a little bit of a, well, from my perspective, almost an integrity issue of saying, hey, do what I say, not what I do. And I think specifically this philosophy, when someone's coming to you for therapy, they have this process, this problem in place that you probably fundamentally believe in a positive way. I have this belief as well, that therapy is probably one of the best venues to get expert help to solve that problem. And but even in this paradigm, they have to find the right therapist, the right fit, and they have to do the work still. Like there's still some caveats, even if you have that big buying framework. And that's truly what you're asking people to believe in. The person on the other side of that therapeutic chair, you say, hey, I believe in this therapeutic process so much that it's going to change your life based off of the problems that you have, that you should spend money on this. And what you're saying in reverse for your business or problems that you have in your life. I've even seen a lot of posts of someone like, well, I don't have insurance, but I don't want to pay my own cash pay therapist, even though I'm a cash pay therapist. And there's this issue of integrity of how you buy is how you sell. And I'm not saying to go waste your money, to frivolously spend lots of money on something that doesn't matter. Look at the problems you have in your business right now that can be solved with money, and level the values that you have up enough to push into that and risk it with the correct help, quote unquote, risk it with the correct help, take action on it, whether it's a coach or consultant or a vendor or a program, or, there's a lot of options to help you solve the problems in your business. And then the cool thing, it's not just quality of life that you'll get like therapy, it's usually more income on the other side. And that's one of the fundamental reasons why I know for a fact that people who work with Therapy Flow should be working with Therapy Flow and be spending the money on it, is because on the other side of their relationship with Therapy Flow, their practice has grown exponentially. And that matters a lot for the lifestyle, the business, and the team members that they employ as a result.
Yeah, I'll maybe put a capstone on this from my end of things here. Try buying more to solve more of your problems. Figure out what elements are holding you back from purchasing and why, and get crystal clear, because there's probably other people who perceive your services the same way. And then take a look at why people are like, I think like when you make this paradigm shift, and it starts, you actually start embodying this, this integrity element to it, where it's like, I buy to improve my life, and so you can buy. I think you start actually attracting people who just buy. You naturally attract and have conversations in a way, and you lead by example, and you lead through your experiences, and so you can speak into it comfortably and effectively, and you can say, yeah, my client, and you can even reference your clients. My clients buy like this, I buy like this. When I have a problem, I buy so that way I can figure out my problem, get through it on the other end, and that's that, right? Like, figure out those values, and leverage this like secret sales hack. Leverage the secret sales hack to change you as a person, and I think you'll actually reap that lifestyle and that cash and everything else that you want on the other end of it.
Yeah. I'll end on a story. When I was probably 12 or 13, I went to a hobby store and I bought a $200 RC airplane. like an remote controlled airplane. And the next morning, I go out with it all set up, and I throw it, and it like shoots up to the sky super high, and it went up, and it went right back down and crashed, and the whole thing just like got destroyed and like started to smoke, and it was nuts. Um, and it was just one of those things where I end on this is not everything you buy is going to work or be of value or happen. But if I hadn't bought another toy, another process, another thing in my life, right, you're stuck. If you don't learn how to spend money on the problems and on the things that you want, your money will be spent in other less valuable places. Everyone spends their money. Very few people like hoard it and just spend nothing, right? Based on just the necessities. Your business income will always find a way to go towards whatever it needs to go towards. And don't let the fear that this will be a plane and crash and burn keep you from buying nothing, because your money will probably get spent in other places no matter what. Do the hard work of trying to figure out the relationship between spending good things and big things, right? And have that come back to you in a successful way. It's a skill level. Attilio and I have had to really level up. We've spent a lot of money on a lot of things in our business. Some of them have been way more valuable than others. And I think we're probably as good as it now as, as we've ever been before, right? And largely it's because we've tried to purchase more things, team members, vendors, processes, assets, whatever else. And we're continuing to level up on where we spend our money, because we know we're going to spend it, but we have to get good at spending larger amounts on better things to get a better return.
Couldn't have said it better, guys. Best of luck. Drop any questions you have in the comments if you've tried this before or if you've never heard this before.